The world of high fashion. It's a universe of glamour, exclusivity, and art. A world where a single dress can cost more than a car, and trends are dictated seasons in advance by a handful of celebrated geniuses. It's a club, and for most of us, the doors are firmly closed. But what if the greatest fashion revolutionary of all time wasn't from Paris or Milan? What if he never walked a red carpet, never gave an interview, and for 60 years, almost no one even knew what he looked like? This is the story of the ghost of the fashion industry, the story of Amancio Ortega and how he secretly built a $100 billion empire by breaking every rule in the book. Amancio Ortega was born in 1936, just as the Spanish Civil War began. His childhood was not one of runways and spotlights, but of scarcity. His father was a railway worker, his mother a housemaid. The family lived on a razor's edge where every peseta counted. One evening, a moment seared itself into his memory. He walked with his mother to a local shop to buy groceries, but they were turned away. The store owner told her, quietly, that he could no longer extend her credit. That night, Amancio saw his mother cry from humiliation. And at just 13 years old, he made a silent vow: his family would never go hungry again. He dropped out of school and took the first job he could find, a shop assistant in a local shirtmaker's store. It wasn't glamorous. He was just a delivery boy, an errand runner. But while others saw a dead-end job, Amancio saw a university. He wasn't just working. He was studying. He studied the customers, learning what they desired. He studied the fabrics, understanding quality. And most importantly, he studied the entire process, from the bolt of cloth to the finished shirt in a customer's hands. He saw waste. He saw delays. He saw a gap. The gap between the customer's desire and the product in their hands. And in that gap, he saw an opportunity that would change everything. In 1963, Amancio decided to take his first risk. With a tiny loan, barely a few $100s, he started a small workshop in his family's living room. His business plan was deceptively simple, but revolutionary for its time. He saw the traditional clothing stores bought from wholesalers who bought from factories. This long chain meant high prices and slow delivery. Amancio's idea? To control the entire process himself, to make the clothes and sell them directly to the stores. No middlemen, no delays. His first products were quilted bathrobes, modeled after high-end luxury designs. But because he controlled production, he could offer similar quality at a fraction of the price. The challenge wasn't making them, it was selling them. He was a nobody, a small-time tailor competing with established brands. He walked door to door, store to store, facing rejection after rejection. But his formula was too good to ignore. High fashion looks at low prices, delivered quickly. Slowly, painstakingly, the orders started coming in. His living room workshop grew into a small factory. He called his company Goa Confecciones. For the next 10 years, Amancio remained in the shadows, perfecting his system. He wasn't just a boss, he was a student of speed. He learned how to source fabric faster, how to organize his seamstresses for maximum efficiency, how to cut patterns to minimize waste. He was building a machine. And then, in 1975, disaster struck. A huge German client who had ordered thousands of shirts suddenly canceled the order, pushing GOA to the brink of bankruptcy. Amancio was left with a mountain of inventory and crippling debt. It was a moment that would have destroyed most entrepreneurs. But for Amancio, this crisis became his greatest opportunity. If the stores wouldn't sell his clothes, he would sell them himself. With his back against the wall, Amancio made a radical decision. He would open his own store, a place where he could control everything, from the design to the final sale. He found a location across the street from one of the most prestigious department stores in his city. He had already ordered the molds for the sign, Zorba, after the film Zorba the Greek. But just down the street, there was a bar with the same name. Not wanting any confusion, he rearranged the letters he had. The result? Z-A-R-A. In 1975, the first Zara opened its doors. The core idea was simple: sell lookalikes of popular high-end fashion items at incredibly low prices. It was an instant success. Zara gave ordinary people access to the fashion they could only dream of. But while the money poured in, Ortega wasn't focused on profits. He was focused on data. He was obsessed with one question: what does the customer want now? This became the secret weapon of Zara. While other brands planned their collections 6 months in advance, Zara listened to its customers daily. Managers in every store recorded customer feedback: what they tried on but didn't buy, what colors they asked for, what styles they saw on the street. This information was sent back to headquarters every single day. Ortega built a company structure that defied all logic. He called it the Cube. There were no walls, no separate departments. Designers sat next to market specialists, who sat next to buyers. This nervous system was designed for one thing only: speed. A new design could go from an idea to a finished product on the store rack in just 3 weeks. The industry standard was 6 to 9 months. Zara wasn't in the business of predicting fashion. They were in the business of instant reaction. They didn't create trends. They delivered them, faster than anyone else. Ortega's machine was unstoppable. Throughout the 80s and 90s, Zara exploded across the globe. They opened a new store almost every week. They spent virtually nothing on advertising. The stores themselves, always in the best locations, were the advertisement. The constant flow of new products was the marketing. The boy who saw his mother cry over a grocery bill had built a global empire worth over $100 billion. The company, now called Inditex, became the largest fashion retailer on the planet. And Amancio Ortega, the man nobody knew, quietly became one of the richest men in history. For a brief moment in 2015, even surpassing Bill Gates. But here is the most extraordinary part of the story. The richer he became, the more invisible he remained. He has never given a single formal interview. Until 1999, not a single photograph of him had ever been published. He doesn't have a flashy office. He works from a shared desk among his designers. He eats in the company cafeteria every day. He never forgot the lesson from that small shirt shop: stay close to the product and stay close to the customer. Everything else is just noise. His obsession was never with fame or fortune. It was with the system, the machine, the process. So what can we learn from the ghost of the fashion industry? Here are the 3 rules of Amancio Ortega you can apply to your own life or business. Rule number 1, become obsessed with your customer, not your ego. Ortega didn't try to tell people what to wear. He listened to what they wanted and gave it to them faster than anyone else. Stop guessing what your market needs. Ask them, listen to them, watch them. The answer is always right there. Rule number 2, control the process, control your destiny. The moment Ortega faced bankruptcy, he realized that relying on others was a weakness. By controlling manufacturing, distribution, and sales, he eliminated risk and maximized speed. Look at your own process. Where are the weak links? What can you bring in-house to become faster and more resilient? And rule number 3, focus on the work, not the fame. In an age of personal branding, Ortega proves that true power lies in execution, not exposure. He poured all his energy into his product and his system, not his public image. Let your results speak for themselves. The greatest success is often built in silence. The story of Amancio Ortega is a powerful reminder that you don't need to be the loudest voice in the room to be the most successful. Sometimes the quietest observer, the one who listens, the one who focuses on the details, is the one who ends up changing the world.
If this story inspired you, subscribe for more biographies of the world's greatest innovators. And let us know in the comments, which silent giant story should we tell next?